Hi, I'm Carmen Lee, and I am a whole person coach and energy healer dedicated to empower change leaders to rise above their circumstances so that they can experience peace, joy, and freedom in being their authentic selves. So often in our lives, we're told or we tell ourselves that we cannot move forward to go for what we want in life because the external circumstances are not helping us. And so we have to wait. And what I've learned over the years is that we don't have to subject to these circumstances. There are certain ways we can orient ourselves that make things happen for us. And that's part of resilience building. And over 15 years ago, I started to notice there were different digestive issues in my system. And I was anxious, quite stressed, and that affected my sleep. So I didn't sleep through the night and I had nightmares. And there was also mind chatter, and it was so noisy that I really couldn't think clearly. And when I was talking to people, I couldn't focus. My mind would just go off. It's like I couldn't even control it. And I thought I was going crazy. And there was this mind fog, and it just seems like things were just cloudy in my mind. I just couldn't see the situations clearly. And obviously I wasn't happy. My doctor was telling me that I needed to start taking some medications. And I thought to myself, I was too young to do that. I was not ready to take medications for the next few decades of my life. And so I started looking for answers because deep down, I believe that there's got to be a different way. And so I came across holistic medicine and I started studying it and practicing it on my own. And the different issues started getting resolved and I started helping people, and that's how I started developing my own business. So over the years, what I have noticed is that there are two main things that will support us to really build our resilience and also support us to go for what we want in life. Number one is habits. The habits that we had adopted for a long time that might have served us might not serve us at this time, and so we might need to develop new habits. And so what comes to mind is sometimes maybe we will have the tendency to push us over the edge because that might, driven by deadline might cause some adrenaline rush, and so we're thriving on that, and that has served us. But over time, we might develop adrenaline fatigue because our body is not wired or designed to run that way on this constant stress. So we need to learn to step back a little bit. And the other piece I've learned is that emotional baggages. A lot of people are not really in touch with their feelings, and so I'm not just talking about at this moment, but there are feelings and emotions that were unresolved from a long time ago, especially in childhood. Could be 2 years old, could be 5 years old. And some of these we might not remember, but what happened was back then we didn't really have the right tools, and something happened. We didn't have the tools to process it, or we thought that, this must be my fault, and so it didn't feel comfortable, and so we didn't want to feel it, and we shoved it into the closet and closed the door. And so just think that, well, we can just move forward in life by forgetting all that. But what happened is that all these emotional charges actually kept storing certain energies in our body, creating distortions in our viewpoint and how we process our experience today, and also distort our perception and affecting our circulation, both the blood circulation and the energy field, affecting how blood is going to different parts of our body. And so if we don't really clean up those emotional baggage, just clear the closet out, then these things are just going to build up and causing us to be weaker in our immunity. We might get triggered and we won't be as resilient. And so I want to give you a couple examples on what habits and emotional baggage is actually, how it affects us. So I remember years ago when I first moved to Sacramento, and this was in '96, and the locals tell me, welcome to Sacramento, and by the way, if you stay here for a certain amount of time, you're gonna have allergies. And they said it as just like a fact. There's nothing you can do about it. And so I just listened. I'm like, okay, whatever. And a few years, I started developing allergies. Then I go, oh my gosh, they were right. What am I going to do? So I just started taking medications. But remember, I had all those health issues that came up later on in my life that caused me to start looking at my whole system in different viewpoints. And I started clearing all these clutter and, start building new habits. And then gradually my allergies go away. And today I haven't had allergies for years now, and I used to get sick twice a year around the flu and cold season. Now I rarely get that. And this is about the immunity that we're building for ourselves, not just physical, but also emotional. So the other example I want to give you is about this emotional baggages. So COVID-19 is a big topic these days. There's a lot of fear and anxiety associated, when you bring up COVID. And some people may not even really realize that they're feeling that. But So I was helping this woman. She got diagnosed with COVID and her oxygen level dropped to dangerously low level. And so I supported her through energy healing. And through the session, I was clearing the grief and the anxiety and the fear. And so she was telling me that, soon after the session, her oxygen level came back to normal. She was able to move around in her house and doing little chores and stuff. But what was remarkable was that she said that she had never felt joy like that before. She had not had an emotionally easy life, in her words, and her daughters passed away several years ago. So there's just a lot of unresolved emotions that was stored in her system, and she didn't know how to deal with it. And so when we clear that out, that's when her system can come back to normal, and so she could actually fight the virus, because her resilience, physical resilience and emotional resilience, her immunity is getting stronger. So one can say, a lot of times that, there's stress in our life, and when there's a lot of stress in our life, our immunity is going to be weakened. And that's a very general term. And in holistic medicine, specific organs get compromised when different emotions are not being resolved. For example, lungs, which is the primary organs that COVID is affecting, is really related to grief. When there's unresolved grief within our system, in our whole being, whether it's forgotten or we still carry that with us consciously, if it's not resolved, it's gonna weaken our organ, the lung. And so when we clear that energy out, then we have a better chance to allow the lung to do its thing, because our body has the ability to heal itself. We just need to clear the interferences and the blockages and the distortions so that the body can do its thing. And so I want to emphasize again, number one, this message is that we do have a choice, and we do not have to be victim of our circumstances. We can do life differently, but in order to live life differently, to experience life fully, and rise above our circumstances, we have to be willing to be honest with ourselves and looking at, okay, what habits do I really need to let go, and what new habits am I ready to take on, so that I can strengthen my immunity, vitality, and resilience, so that I live greater joy. And joy is a great way to actually boost our system, The other piece of it is that there are emotional baggages. I don't really care who they are, how happy people claim they are. We were on this earth, I can easily say many, over 98% probably, have things that are within our system that need to be cleared out. It's just a matter we're aware of it or not. And if we're not willing to really look at those emotional baggages or old stories that have been playing in the background, affecting our choices, we are less likely to be able to move forward in a powerful way. So, a lot of these old stories and baggages is affecting how we choose to communicate ourselves, how we show ourselves. Maybe there's certain things we want to do, certain things we want to say, but we couldn't say it because we told ourselves there's all these different things that happened in the past that actually affected us. It's like, it's not a good idea. So if we clear that, we'll be more able to really share the world of the gifts that we have, the treasures we have, and the truth that we're ready to share. So I hope this is helpful to you, and I look forward to connecting with you next time to go deeper in terms of what habits and emotions can really support us in building our resilience, helping us rise above the circumstances and feel good about our life regardless of what is happening in the world. And I'll see you next time. Bye.